So flat rate is essentially like society is cultured to buy off a flat rate already.
Yeah. It's the McDonald's talk. It's the Valvoline oil change talk.
Yeah, you go to Valvoline Oil Change or Jiffy Lube or anything like that, and they're going to give you the 3 different options for where you want your oil change. Do you want the economy oil change? Do you want the mid-level oil change? Do you want the high-end oil change? And then they're going to have a couple of adders for like, if your vehicle takes over 5 quarts of oil, then it's an extra X dollar a quart or something like that.
Yeah, $10, $11, something like that.
But essentially, the price of the oil change doesn't change, right? And notice how there's no times associated to those oil changes. Those times are, you've got...
as fast as we can do it. Those are the times.
Right. You may get in and out in 20 minutes and spend $119 on an oil change, or it might be 2 hours.
Yeah, because
and you still spent the same 119, right? And so nobody goes into like, let's just say that you pull in, there's nobody in there, you do the oil change, and it's literally like 12 minutes and done, right? Yeah. And that's happened. Like, that's not an unrealistic number.
When you go during the day, that happens because there's no one in line.
There's no one there. Right.
I still change my own oil, by the way, but that's because I love it.
Yeah,
I like it.
So let's say you do that. It's 12 minutes in and out, and they charged 119. They don't have customers going, you charged me $119 and you were only here for 12 minutes. Like, I want a break. You know what I mean? The reason why is because the value proposition was clearly displayed up front. The value proposition was $119 in exchange for an oil change. No time associated with that, right?
Well, and let's be honest, like, it's because people have become like just used to it, right? Well, it's one of those things that it's been that way for so long. So it didn't used to be that way.
Right.
Like, you would go in and you had this car, it was X amount of dollars. But once those quick lube places started, piling up and they were on every freaking corner, they realized, okay, we've got to just have flat rate pricing. Like, this is what it is. That's how it is. And now people are just accustomed to it. Yeah. Let's be honest. The service industry is like, 10 years behind probably?
I mean, yeah, it's
maybe more.
Yeah. And so like, let's use another example. You go to a restaurant and you get,
oh man,
for $21.99, you can get their 9-ounce sirloin with 2 sides, right? Now, they don't qualify that and say like, well, if we have Johnny on the line cooking, Johnny's real slow. So it's probably going to be $29.99 if Johnny's cooking because he's real slow. Yeah. But if we have Mark back there on the line, Mark's really fast. And so it might actually be less, right? Or another layer to the restaurant talk is like, I get a steak medium rare, and let's say I've got a psychotic guest with me that gets a steak well done.
Psychotic guest.
I would never do that, but let's say we do, right?
Yeah.
The steak is the same price.
Yeah. Even though it took less fire
to cook.
It took less fire to make the rare one.
Yeah. It took less natural gas. It took less time. It took less labor.
Yeah.
The opportunity cost was less. In other words, there's an opportunity cost when you have a well-done steak taking up place on a grill, and you got all these other people that are trying to get their steaks cooked. Your well-done steak is literally cutting into the opportunity for them to get everyone else's done too. But restaurants don't do it that way. It's $21.99 for the steak and 2 sides. How do you like it cooked?
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, society is cultured to purchasing off of flat rate pricing.
I don't want to change subjects. Did you see what they're starting to do in Kansas City? And they're actually starting to do it all over the country. This is weird. I saw a deal the other day. Wendy's is having flex pricing on their food.
Yeah. Demand-based pricing based off of the time you buy it.
Demand-based pricing. Now, they said it won't go up. It'll only go down for when they're out. But I guess there's a bunch of restaurants that are doing the same thing. Yeah. And like, when I first heard it, I thought it was really messed up. But then I'm like, well, they do that for happy hour to get people to come in before dinner.
They've been doing it forever.
So they've been doing that forever. But it's like this whole... like, oh, well, they shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that.
They're just formally doing it.
You're getting a deal. What are you bitching about?
Yeah.
Like, people are just, they're nuts, man.
Well, the value of a cheeseburger is different at 1:30 in the afternoon than it is at 5:30 in the evening.
Exactly.
And it's different at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's just a contradiction.
Who's eating cheeseburgers at 8:30? I mean, I would, but
Dude, if I go to like a big breakfast, like if you were to call me and say, hey, let's go to Sandy's and get breakfast today, like I usually will get country fried steak and eggs.
yeah,
Like it's lunch, like it's a brunch all
doesn't
on
matter
one
when
plate.
I'm there.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Country fried steak, baby.
Yeah.
A couple sausages.
So,
Oh, delicious.
so
I'm
society
hungry. I
is
didn't eat breakfast this morning.
society is cultured to flat rate pricing. Like another example of this is like you go to a commodities market. Commodities are things that you buy and sell where there's no service involved, right? So like anything on Amazon is a commodity. Even though there is service involved with how well they take care of your order and everything else.
Parts are a commodity.
Yeah, yeah. And so in the commodities world, you still have flat rate pricing. In other words, like using the Amazon example, the item that you're wanting to buy is $50 free shipping. Even though some people, they might be shipping it 7 blocks away from the Amazon distribution center.
And some people are
and
going
some people is
Seattle.
having to go 400 miles from the distribution center.
Yeah.
It's still free shipping.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
and the law of averages is what dictates that, right? Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Half of them are going to be far away. Half of them are going to be close. For them, it doesn't matter. We're building in $1.99 per
Yeah.
item to ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and so
Not to get into the weeds too much.
the logic there is Amazon's made it easy for a customer to buy because it's a fixed price for a fixed result. Restaurants have made it easy for a customer to buy because it's a fixed price for a fixed result. Same with Jiffy Lube.
Yep.
Same with anybody else on flat rate style pricing, menu style pricing.
Well, it's like when you go to Third Street Social, like you can get a ribeye for, I don't know what it is, $80, or you can get a sirloin for $25.
Right.
Like the sirloin is going to be just as good. Do you want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're allowed to pick at what price point you want.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about flat rate pricing when you're in the service industry. You're allowing them a choice to be at what level they want to be at and spend the amount of money they're comfortable with and still be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
that make
coupling
sense?
flat rate pricing with providing options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what we teach in trade winds.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
Which is
So-
what everyone should be doing. Hello, wake up out there.
Right.
If you're not.
Um,
It's not go into Susie Joe's house and say, okay, to fix that garbage disposal, it's this. And she's already been on the internet and realized there's a third, there's a half, there's a 3/4.
Right.
I could get a Badger or I could get a Moen. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, come on. She's already done her research. Don't be that guy.
Don't be the guy that gives her a one option.
Yeah. Don't be that guy. Because you
Yep.
know she's going to ask you questions.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, I saw this and I saw that. Now you look like a douche. You know,
Yeah.
eyes wide open. Oh, man.
Yep.
I was not prepared.
Right.
You got to be given options, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
So time and
WTF.
material pricing.
Which there is a place for.
Yeah, time and material pricing is essentially you're charging the customer for all of your time on site. And then you're marking up your material and charging the customer for all the material you used. And can you go wrong with time and material pricing? Technically, no. It's a good fail-safe method. However, it brings on its own host of problems.
Yeah. It's usually more questions.
Yeah. So here's where the problems come in with time and material pricing is with time and material pricing, it's virtually impossible to quote pricing before the work is done
Yeah.
because you don't know how long it's going to take and that will change the bill.
Well, and I mean, unless you're just a very seasoned vet. But even then, if you run into trouble,
Mm-hmm.
oh, now I have to charge you more because I ran into trouble, whether it was because of the home or your own fault for screwing something up.
Right.
Now that person is paying for something they didn't know in advance of.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. And so what you end up with is you end up with customers questioning their bill from time to time because they're always going to question your skill level. Like it comes off as an attack on you.
Oh, of course it
Like,
does.
why
Yeah.
weren't you faster? Why didn't you get this done sooner? Why did it take so long? Right. And so it comes off as an attack on you on your skill level, but they're going to question the bill. They're going to always wonder, could somebody have gotten it done quicker and therefore my price been less? Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens is it forces a conversation where the customer now sees your cost. And so what I mean by that on time and material pricing, you are
'cause you're
telling the
giving them an
customer,
hourly rate. Yeah.
yeah, you're telling the customer it's this much per hour, it's this much for material, and it took me this many hours. And naturally, our natural brain is, can we find it cheaper, right? That's why Amazon allows you to sort from cheapest,
Yeah.
cost low to high, right?
Yeah.
And I am not at the status where I price things from high to low. Right.